This is WBTV special presentation.
Guns and drugs and just insanity. And I was like, I'm gonna die.
She grew up in a middle-class family, took dance classes, mastered the piano. So how did she go from this life to a woman enslaved for sex?
And I just cried out to God and I said, can you help me? If you hear me, help me, please.
Tonight, the FBI says in some dark corner of our community, people, mostly young women, are held captive, victims of the fastest growing crime in America. Good evening. Thanks for joining us for Human Trafficking in the Carolinas. I'm Maureen O'Boyle. Tonight, you'll hear one local woman's story. She was a victim of this vicious crime, barely making it out alive. She's sharing her story so your family never knows her pain.
Cause my hope is found. It could be anybody. It can be anyone. And I am trading my sorrows. And I am trading my shame. Yeah, yeah.
Joy never expected to feel such shame. She grew up in a middle-class family in Aiken, South Carolina. Here she is with her papa. She danced and was classically trained on the piano. A sweet life turned bleak.
Sorry. It's okay. When I got to Charlotte, after I saw this, things just got really dark, a lot more dark and crazier. I'm gonna die.
At 18, Joy was down on her luck, but she had no idea how much worse her life would get.
I was in a club one night and I was kind of struggling with like trying to make ends meet and everything. And this girl in there, she came up to me and she was like, "Oh, you're pretty." And she pulled out like $2,000 or $3,000.
Money is what Joy needed, and she was vulnerable. She had no idea that woman had targeted her. In no time, through violence, drugs, intimidation, and fear, she was enslaved.
They just treat you like a princess, and then they want you to do something for them, which is go have sex for money.
The game, as she calls it, was a business, but she had no control. She was constantly given drugs. She says it was structured. She had what's known as a daddy or a pimp, and she was part of a team, usually about 6 girls.
They don't even I've had daddies where they don't let you even talk to each other. Like I was actually here in a hotel in Charlotte, and I tried to say something to one of the girls and he slapped me.
They were sold like a piece of furniture on a website, hour after hour, forced by her pimp to have sex. Her only escape, drugs.
The drugs became the only way to live then.
Yeah, because if you actually are present all the way when you're doing this stuff, you go crazy. So you have to have something, some way out.
So you may be asking, why wouldn't Joy just leave? Well, this is a world where there are security guards watching these victims. There are guns. The women have no access to money. They're basically trapped. Joy says every time she woke up, if she was able to fall asleep, she thought that was the day her pimp would kill her.
Well, if you just see a girl that's trying to leave and she's on the same team as you and she was working like I was working for him, and you see her try to leave and he beats her almost to death, you're not going to try to run. You're going to do whatever you have to do.
Because you wanted to stay alive.
Joy says the team stayed on the move to keep ahead of police. Each town a new ad for their services. It wasn't just seedy motels where she worked. She's been in some of Charlotte's best hotels and finest neighborhoods, forced with the threat of death to sleep with countless men.
I don't know, probably until you couldn't like a lot. Until you can't, really. I've seen politicians to doctors, lawyers to dope boys to basketball players. People buy sex like it's bad. People buy it like it's just nothing.
How many different cities do you think you've been trafficked?
I don't know. Everywhere. I can't count. I wouldn't be able to count.
Then she was trafficked back into Charlotte.
When he brought you from Atlanta to Charlotte, did he explain why? What was the plan?
He said because Charlotte's blowing up and this is where the money's at.
It was the stop here that Joy says changed everything.
And I am trading my pain, yeah, yeah. And I am laying them down, them down, them down.
Joy is certainly brave to share her story, and it's not over yet. First, though, if you or someone you know is the victim of human trafficking, call this number for help. This number is open 24 hours a day. We will pass it along throughout the evening. And we are proud to be here in the WBTV studios live tonight, bringing awareness to a crime some of you may know nothing about. Just last week, a 16-year-old was rescued from human trafficking just 70 miles from Charlotte. She'd run away on Christmas Day, and within days, authorities say she was put on a website and sold for sex. Deputies saved her in an undercover sting. The case is proof yet again this crime is happening right here, affecting young women and teens in the Carolinas. It is also a crime the FBI works tirelessly to fight. Tonight, our Sharon Smith introduces you to an agent who answers call after call and sees the faces of the victims she can't forget.
FBI Special Agent Chandra Drummond is the woman who rescues countless girls from sex trafficking in Charlotte.
Some of the stories that I hear, I will never forget. Many of the faces I will never forget.
The youngest victim she's helped, just 14 years old. Drummond says the pimps prey on a girl's insecurities or something missing from their lives.
Whether it be a parent, whether it be attention, whether they don't think that they're beautiful enough or smart enough, they just felt like something was missing. And the predator came and promised them of hopes of something more grand.
By the time the victim realizes their real intentions, it's too late, and escaping isn't an option.
I'll tell your family what you're really doing. How would you like for your grandmother, your mother, your father to know what you're really doing? Some of the women have children, and the pimp threatens to call protective services and tell protective services that the mother is involved in prostitution.
Drummond says they'll even go so far as to brand the girls at times for life.
It ranges from branding tattoos to a certain brand of clothing that this pimp may use as his brand in order to identify the girls that work for him.
But if customers or Johns knew the whole truth, would it make a difference? Drummond can only hope so.
If these people who are engaging in that thought about the next person that they pay for sex may not be doing it on her own free will, or that this girl might be 16, although she looks 24, they might change their mind about what they're doing.
In Charlotte, Sharon Smith, WBTV, on your side.
And the FBI is joining us in our efforts tonight by live tweeting. Go to Twitter, search the hashtag #StopHumanTrafficking for facts and information you and your family need to know. Coming up, meet the woman who saves victims like Joy. She tells us victims are getting younger and younger.
I mean, they go into schools to recruit girls.
And Joy's story continues as she shares her darkest moment.
There was the really young girls, and it freaked me out. And I saw him beating some of the girls. So I don't know exactly how old they were. But
You said it was very dark,
yeah,
and dark means
evil. Very evil.
When human trafficking in the Carolinas continues, Joy makes it out alive to tell her story, the dramatic moment she knew she'd been saved.
I remember just scared, really scared. Scared because I didn't know if I was going to go to jail, but scared because I didn't know if the pimps would come in and shoot everybody.
Here again, the hotline number if you or someone you suspect is the victim of human trafficking. The line is open 24 hours a day. Call now. Rescues are what Joy hopes for. She is sharing her story tonight in hopes others will know the new life she does.
And I am trading my pain, yeah, yeah. And I am laying them down.
These were the very first words Joy sang after she was rescued from what she calls a living hell. After being trafficked for sex across several states and more cities than she can count, it was inside a Charlotte bathroom where she made her final cry for help.
I never heard that term, trafficking or trafficked. I just thought that was just the hustling. I was just trying to survive. I remember I was looking around the hotel room and I saw like guns and drugs and just insanity. And I was like, I'm gonna die. I was like, I'm gonna die. This is how I'm gonna die if I don't get out of here. So I went in the bathroom and I just cried out to God and I said, can you help me? If you hear me, help me, please.
2 days later, her prayers were answered.
I got off the elevator and knocked on the door at the hotel, thinking it was going to be John. And this guy answered the door and he had like a badge around his neck. And it was the FBI.
High on drugs, exhausted from turning tricks, Joy couldn't comprehend what was happening.
I remember just scared, really scared. Scared because I didn't know if I was going to go to jail, but scared because I didn't know if the pimps would come in and shoot everybody. And also, a part of me was relieved.
The agent told her there were 2 women who wanted to see her. They were from Justice Ministries. The organization reaches out to victims of human trafficking, specifically women sold for sex.
And Laney said, God sent us here to tell you that he loves you. And that this is your way out. I'm no longer a slave to fear, no. I am a child of God, oh yeah, yeah. And I'm no longer a slave to fear, no. I am a child of God.
There was something about Joy you could see, just a desperation and a cry for help.
Lainey George understands. She says she was trafficked off and on most of her young life. She's been working with trafficked women for well over a decade. Lainey's home is where Joy started to heal.
What does this house mean to you?
If I want to come here, I would be dead.
I say we give women a tangible hope. We loan them hope until they have hope of their own. And I can say with confidence, I know you can see the other side. I know you can be set free and whole.
The experience of helping Joy was so powerful, Lainey named the ministry she founded in 2013 Redeeming Joy, a tribute to a woman Lainey says shows there is hope.
I'm no longer trafficked. I'm no longer a prostitute. I'm no longer a drug addict. I'm no longer lost. I'm no longer abused. I'm no longer a slave.
With hard work and Redeeming Joy's help, Joy earned this diploma.
And I'm officially a dental assistant. And I am very proud of that because I never thought I'd be in school and graduate.
Joy has gotten married and found great support at Steel Creek Church.
I love this church.
She beams when she talks about getting her 2 kids back full time. She hopes this summer.
God's restored my life. He's restored my relationship with my children. I never thought I would get that back. and it's awesome. I've never been alone.
For a woman who had her dignity and so much of her life taken from her against her will, Joy is back. She was enslaved, but found her freedom and her faith.
Rescue me, Lord. Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you, Joy, for being so honest with us. Now the story that may shock you the most, our interview with a woman who says girls are lured by traffickers at school. Our Sarah Blake Morgan has more.
It simply starts with a phone call.
I never know. 2 a.m., 5 a.m.
But when this woman answers,
Hello?
there's no second guessing.
How old is she?
She must be ready.
If I don't answer my phone and we don't go, you know, what's gonna happen?
Around the clock, local and federal law enforcement work to catch sex traffickers across the Carolinas. But their victims are shuttled from insecurity to safety by AIMEE Johnson.
It's a huge weight of responsibility. Like, it really feels sometimes comparable to a doctor with someone's life in your hands.
In less than 5 years, Johnson and Justice Ministries' Rise Up program have helped 320 victims, offering anything and everything the women may need.
Does she need me to bring her a blanket or food or anything?
To leave their dark past behind.
We're with them until they say they're done. We will continue to work with them until they say they don't want help anymore.
Johnson says it's happening right under our noses.
It's everywhere.
In Charlotte, it's everywhere.
Yes, in Charlotte, in Concord, at the malls, at the schools. I mean, they go into schools to recruit girls. They go into football games to recruit kids.
Some rescues are forever etched in this woman's mind.
I remember just looking in her eyes and that fear and that hollowness. And I mean, she looked like death, like she was bone skinny.
But she says the hardest part is convincing her girls there is another option.
I've sat and talked to girls and they're like, but he loves me. And like, but honey, he is beating the crap out of you, or she's beating the crap out of you. They are making you sleep with other people. You're not getting the money.
This woman is ready to go at all times, a task most wouldn't willingly undertake. But for Johnson, seeing her girls succeed makes life on call
I'll be there as soon as I can.
worth it.
Our love and our support is not based on what you do, but it's because who you are, and we love you no matter what. So if it takes you 9 to 10 to 15 to 20 times to get out, we're here each time.
That was our Sarah Blake Morgan reporting. And when we return, Joy's message to the men who pay for sex and may not even know the women aren't always there willingly. It's estimated there are more than 4 million people enslaved for sex worldwide. If you or someone you know is a victim, call this number for help now. Today, Joy has a new life, but she has a message for men who pay for sex. She wants them to know you may be hiring a victim of sex trafficking.
I would say, think about it if it were your daughter. Or think about it if it was your mom or your sister. Would you want them to have to be sold in a room every day? So think about it before you click on that ad and call that number. Pretend you're calling your daughter. And she has to come see you. She has to have sex with you. Or sex with someone. Think about it like that before you do it. Please.
So what about the other victims? They have voices too, and tonight we're making them heard when human trafficking in the Carolinas continues. Federal laws protect you if you're a U.S. citizen, immigrant, visa holder, and even an undocumented worker. Call this number now for help. We want you to know Joy has reconciled with her family, and if you want to know more about the fight against human trafficking, go to WBTV.com right now. And we close with words of other victims who couldn't share their stories. Thank you for being here. Good night.
We would come into Charlotte because that is where the money is.
I couldn't call my parents or family because if I did, he threatened to kill them.
He would beat any girl who would get pregnant until they would have a miscarriage.
I needed a family environment. I needed to see how it was to live a normal life, in laughter, tears, and fights and realness.
Why are you helping me? Who are you? I have never had anyone care for me like this before.
I can't remember the last time I laughed.
Here again, the hotline number if you or someone you suspect is the victim of human trafficking. The line is open 24 hours a day. Call now.